Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, likes, comments, and subscribes are appreciated, or you can tell me a place that you've always wanted to visit. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin and Ethereum attempt recovery. Binance coin is near 500 US dollars. The cryptocurrency market, at least a portion of it, is currently in red right now. It is once again not a heavy red or anything completely insane. Bitcoin and Ethereum are roughly down around 2 to 3%, somewhere around there. There's actually very little price news, and I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, it's not like a lot is really happening price-wise anyway. A lot of it is focusing on the Bitcoin's options expiration that's supposed to happen, I believe, on Friday. Historically, a lot of times, whenever we've gotten news that there's going to be some type of a futures and options, a derivatives expiration, usually on a Friday, we get news of, will this in some way affect Bitcoin's price? The usual answer is no, but we are constantly told by many different websites that it could have some type of a negative effect, which for some reason I don't think I'll ever actually understand, because a lot of the options have to do with cash-settled Bitcoin pieces of paper that aren't even Bitcoin itself. Besides that, that's really all the price news. It was very weird. I was looking around. There was absolutely nothing. The only thing that kept on kind of popping up was the Friday's, Friday expiration, and the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum are constantly like small dipping, but then kind of moving back up almost immediately. Yeah, that's the price news. And let's move on. In the most popular news of the day, and I once again understand why it's popular as I can read, but this should have been completely obvious before. Per a filing with the US SEC, banking giant Morgan Stanley holds several shares, a lot more than several actually, of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Pseudonym market analyst Mark Macroscope broke the news via Twitter. What was that in my head? The SEC file indicates that over 30 Morgan Stanley funds hold large amounts of Grayscale's trust. The biggest seems to be the Morgan's Insight Fund with over 928,000 shares, worth around $36 million or around 700 Bitcoin. I mean, if at this point you or someone else you do not know, or I would assume you do know them, it just doesn't understand that every single bank is so deep into the cryptocurrency space. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We've gone over this for a number of years. I think in the very beginning, in the 2017, 2018-esque era, a lot of it was very very speculative, but not even then. Like we were getting news all the time from like banking executives or shadowy figures in parking lots who were always like, yeah, we're heavily investing in the cryptocurrency space. But whenever we keep getting this news, like it keeps making like headlines, like not even like it's popular, but like it's all over the place. And I think that's because people really hear news and then kind of forget about it. Like 72 hours later, they're like, whoa, banks are in crypto. I remember even a long time ago, the entire idea of a bank even wanting to get into crypto was like, no, they'll never. I remember having a conversation with somebody before, and they got so heated because the idea originally for Bitcoin was, to be completely away from banks. Like they would have nothing to ever do with each other, and banks would simply go, you darn kids, I can't believe you didn't invest in our banking stocks. And that was kind of the thing. So when banks did start getting into cryptocurrencies, people were like, no, like that's not a thing. Banks are never going to touch Bitcoin. It's decentralized. And I'm like, Bitcoin goes up by like 500% like a year. So of course they're going to. However, the Morgan Stanley Institutional Fund, the Morgan Stanley Institutional Trust, the Morgan Stanley Variable Insurance Fund, and others seem to have large amounts as well. Back in June of this year, when Bitcoin was still trading around the low 30,000s, Morgan Stanley disclosed a large position on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust via their Europe Opportunity Fund. As reported by Bitcoinist, the bank owned 28,298 shares. The investment was valued at only $1.3 million, relatively small compared with today's filing. So here is the SEC filings right here. All the things you see on the screen are all of their funds that hold grayscale Bitcoin. Are you surprised? You should not be. I think at this point, no one should be. It is quite significant in that they have an enormous amount of Bitcoin. I'm going to assume this is only through an actual proper filing that the bank had to do for these funds. There still are many other ways that the bank is probably also accumulating and or buying up Bitcoin as well, whether it be directly, whether it be through them owning a portion of a mining company, which we've also had news about the last couple of weeks as well, that a lot of these institutions also hold huge stakes or portions of these mining companies, and they're, I assume, getting the Bitcoin that is also being mined, and also through futures and many other things and shares and trusts and grayscales and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, this is the most popular news story of the day. Morgan Stanley, only because of an SEC filing. Now understand, if these banks and companies did not have to disclose this, they would not disclose this. They would openly be on TV telling you how terrible Bitcoin is, but because of legal SEC transparency, they're required to do so. So this is why you don't hear them anymore on the news talking about how terrible Bitcoin is, because they've been here since at least 2014. Yeah, that's the Morgan Stanley news. We also had JP Morgan news yesterday. I think before that we had Citibank news, who's also doing something about it. Fidelity is also in it. And what other big bank? The one bank we haven't had explicit news about is Bank of America. And I think the last news we had from them was in 2019 that they were trying to, I think, custody Bitcoin or allow their richest clients to have access to Bitcoin in some sort of way. So they're all here. Just make sure that you know that they're there, because it is a clear indication as to where the space is going to go. That's the Morgan Stanley news. And let's move on. In slightly confusing news, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, this is also very popular news. The UK financial regulator, the Financial Conduct Authority, or the FCA, has announced that cryptocurrency exchange Binance has complied with the requirements it imposed on the company in June. The FCA further clarified that while Binance is allowed to provide some investment services, it is not authorized to provide services related to crypto assets in the United Kingdom. So they can do some things, but I think they can't maybe offer like staking. This, I'm not there. I did not make these rules, but this is kind of what I'm ascertaining from the information that we're kind of getting. Like, you can have people buy crypto from you, but you can't offer certain cryptocurrency services. Sure, why not? The UK Financial Authority announced on Wednesday that Binance has complied with the requirements it imposed in June on Binance Markets Limited and other companies in the Binance Group operated in the United Kingdom. They said on the 25th of June, 2021, the FCA imposed requirements on Binance Markets Limited. The firm complied with all aspects of the requirements. So you might have seen sometime last night that Binance Coin's price was going up, and I'm pretty sure it was because of this news. The news was floating around that, the one of the countries, I think it was 4 countries, who were like, hey, Binance doesn't have paperwork. And I told you that they would get the actual paperwork because it's just paperwork, that they are now complying, see, I said it correctly this time, with the UK Financial Conduct Authority. However, this morning, the news that's also floating around, this one says complies, yada, yada. Where is it? I think it's this one right here, is also floating around. And I'm a little confused as to exactly, is it a yay or a nay? And I'm not really sure. In reference to one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, Binance, the UK's FCA has stated that, and I quote, based upon the firm's engagement to date, the FCA considers that the firm is not capable of being effectively supervised. According to the Reuters report, the FCA is concerned about Binance's global reach and range of products, which it considers as a significant risk. Binance has been facing increasing regulatory scrutiny recently. UK's FCA said this is of particular concern in the context of the firm's membership of a global group which offers complex and high-risk financial products. They could mean futures or, like leverage trading, which poses a significant risk to consumers. Earlier this month, the FCA prohibited Binance from conducting any regulated activity in the UK and imposed several requirements on the platform. So yeah, this is also floating around as well. Last night, the news was, everything is honky-dory, cool, amazing. Binance, we have their paperwork. And I think Binance also announced, last month, that they're working on trying to create multiple physical locations around the world to be able to be regulatorily compliant, because these people just really want Binance to have an office with someone sitting behind the desk on a computer. Like, that's really... Anyway, and the other part being is now they're saying that they cannot be effectively supervised, which basically means... whatever. You know exactly what it means. We're all old enough to understand that these people just want complete control over everything that's happening around the world, whether it be within their borders or not. I think it's also a really big thing where people, for some reason, don't understand that borders... two things. That borders actually aren't real. Have you ever flown in a plane and looked down from the plane and there's no lined dots on the ground because, that's not an actual thing. But the other portion of it being is that a lot of regulators and I think people in general live in a world where they don't understand that, things can just be online. There doesn't have to be an actual store location like we aren't in the 1920s anymore. Same exact way with the US SEC. Like, the people in the U.S. have to live under the laws from the SEC. They come from 1937. You can look it up. It's kind of ridiculous, but sure. So it appears that Binance has their paperwork in order. And on the other side, I guess the UK's FCA is a little annoyed because they don't want Binance to have futures, or that was another thing that we also, I think we should have gone over that a week ago or 2 weeks ago as well. A lot of the countries who have a problem with Binance, they don't like the idea that Binance was also offering stock on their website. For those of you who missed that day, Binance and I think one other website announced that you were able to buy Apple stock and all these other places on their platform through fractionalized shares. And then the other regulators were like, hey, that's an unregistered security. You can't do that. Like, these people have nothing else better to do with their times. It's actually quite sad. This is why we can't progress anywhere on this planet because, 1937. Anyway, so yeah. Are they regulated? I don't know. Does it actually matter? Probably not. Anyway, that's all the Binance news that's floating around. We'll see what happens by the end of the day. Maybe they'll get paperwork for some other country. Let's move on. Also in quite popular news, and this picture is kind of weird because it's these two men looking up at a gigantic robotic hand. Is that their master? Is it something they're building? They're also apparently talking to it, and they're not afraid of it at all. I just realized I said all of that while forgetting that I was recording a video. Oh boy. As Facebook now finalizes the development of its proprietary cryptocurrency wallet, known as Novi, the social media giant could soon be supporting NFTs as well. Of course they are. David Marcus, head of Facebook and financial, I'm not reading all that, said on Wednesday that the firm is definitely looking at possible ways to get involved in the NFT industry. Facebook is considering multiple options to introduce NFT features as it finds itself in a really good position to do so. When you have a good crypto wallet like Novi will be, you also have to think about how to help consumers support NFTs. There's been a lot of NFT news. I tried to tell you all before, like, it's something, like when you see like a clear and definite trend, like this is picking up a lot quicker than I actually assumed that it was going to be. Everyone's integrating or creating an NFT platform on their website at some point. The only little, red flag in the air is that Facebook is trying to create their own digital coin. Got it. The other part is that they're trying to make a wallet basically through the Facebook and or Messenger platform, which is a little weird because they already know everything that you say. Now they'll know everything that you spend. And then on the other part of that is that they're also, if you haven't seen this, like, look it up. They're also trying to create like a virtual world where you can go basically spend all your extra time also inside of Facebook World. It's not going to be called Facebook World, but I'm calling it Facebook World. And now they basically I don't know. And you can't even, it's not that you can't fault them, but they're doing the exact same thing that banks and Visa and MasterCard have been doing for decades already. Like, they just kind of want a complete monopoly on everything. But the news is Facebook is, wink, wink, thinking about working on an NFT platform, they're going to have one, and people are going to use it. But I just hope that other people out there try to realize that there are other platforms that they could consider using, as they are decentralized and no one will directly have control over your assets except for you. As long as you are legally able to do so, just look into that, because we all know that we're all going to have about 35 friends who you're going to tell not to use Facebook coin because it's going to be taking all their data, and they're going to be like, oh, bro, guess what I got this morning? 35% off at the Chicken Hut or Panda Bear Food. What's that thing? Panda Express. Panda Bear Food. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. That's the Facebook news with a gigantic blue hand. I don't want to see the rest of it. All right, let's move on. Also in the news, quite popular earlier yesterday, Cardano's token started trading for the first time ever on a Japanese exchange, which means that residents of Japan can easily invest into ADA. Sebastian Guimau, CTO at DC Spark, as well as former co-VP of Eng and Cardano, why do they have such long titles, said that ADA has finally been approved for listing on a Japanese crypto exchange, and explained why this is a big deal. I assume because people in Japan will be able to use it. According to Guimau, it is not easy for crypto assets to gain regulatory approval for the purpose of getting listed on cryptocurrency exchanges, and this is why only a relatively small number of coins can be traded in Japan. They're Bitcoin, Bcash, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, BAT, Stellar, NEM, Tezos, and Polkadot. He went on to say that this news is pretty significant for the Japanese market and is important to roughly equivalent ADA getting listed on Coinbase in March. Fantastic. So the news is we had about 2 weeks ago that before the upgrade of Cardano was going to be listed or be able to be legally listed within Japan. And then we had the news that these were the only coins that could be listed in the country. So now it's finally happened. It's finally there. Wonderful, fantasticals. I hope it does well for them. Here's the actual website that it's on. It's called BitPoint. Can't read it, but I see the word ADA with an exclamation point, which means ADA. Oh, it's also right here, so that definitely means it's also there as well. Cool. For those of you who missed the news in 2018 and 2019 and also 2017, Japan and South Korea basically controlled the cryptocurrency market, not in a joking way. Like, they had like 85% of all the trading volume, and they had all the price premiums. So I did see an article floating around, decided not to include it. It was a bit hypey, if you will, that basically said that Cardano's gonna hit like $22 because of this listing. And I was like, maybe time frame would be a little bit better. Anyway, that's the Cardano being listed in Japan news. It says Cardano goes east after Japan's BitPoint becomes first to list ADA. And Cardano launched in Japan. Hoskinson tweets a haiku to celebrate. Oh, that's kind of awkward. Anyway, that's the Cardano news. And let's move on. And to finish things off, oh, they look like Captain Planet almost, like with the holding up the rings. There's a lot of like young people money news. It's a little, you'll see. A new survey has found that more than 1 in 10 American citizens aged between 18 to 34 have invested part of their stimulus check into crypto. Conducted by CNBC and research firm Mamet. The survey queried 5,530 adults and found that 11% of the survey participants had purchased cryptocurrency with their stimulus monies. Roughly half of the respondents were found to have funneled their stimulus money into investments broadly, with 15% seeking exposure to stocks, 9% investing in mutual funds, and 6% backing exchange-traded funds. And really funny, and I was going to actually make fun of the fact that people were putting their money into stocks or mutual funds because, listen, stop it. Because I'm used to the idea that in crypto, we get like 47% gains over the course of like a 7-day period. But at least these people are investing at all. I know so many people who don't have a dime in any type of investment. So by all means, please, even if you're only getting 12% per year from your investments, is better than you losing the 6% from inflation. The majority of young Americans appeared bullish on cryptocurrency's future prospects, with 60% of survey participants indicating that they see digital assets as a long-term investment. By contrast, 21% described crypto as a short-term investment. Well, they have no idea what's going on. Jeez Louise. While 26% said they are engaging with the market out of excitement. Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of like surveys going on. Like, what are young people doing with their money? That's not the voice, but you understand what I'm saying. Like even this, if you're not looking at the screen, a lot of this is floating around very recently. It says $1,200 stimulus check would now be worth $8,765 if used to buy Bitcoin. And there's the Statue of Liberty with red eyes because I can't make that joke. I know I can't make that joke. It has to do with smoke in the air from something in someone's hand. That's the joke I was going to make. Anyway, so the news is, you know, if you had kept your $1,200 stimulus check, it would have been logically, mathematically worth less simply because of inflation and all that other stuff. But you could have made like 7.58 times the amount of money if you had thrown it into Bitcoin. And I dare even ask what that number was if it had been put into like Cardano or something else. That was oh my gosh, that was a really big thing also in 2017 as well. I don't know why I'm having all these like 2017 flashbacks. There was news at the end of the year. You can probably find the article. End of 2017, maybe beginning of 2018. There was an article that said, like, if you had put $10,000 into Bitcoin, you'd have X amount by this time. You know, everyone was like, woo, that's a lot of money. I can't believe it. That's insane. But they also like were doing other articles for like if you had put it into XRP, if you had put it into Ethereum, and it like completely outpaced Bitcoin. That was because Bitcoin's price was a lot higher. Yabba dabba dabba. But yeah, so I wonder what that $1,200 would have been if they put it into like Cardano. Because didn't Cardano fall to like 4 cents or something like that? No, I think it was like 7 cents. We were having the discussion that I would have emptied my bank account had it hit 2 cents. And I wish I had even emptied my bank account at 7 cents just because, you know, complete logic. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. That's the young people cryptocurrency stimulus check Statue of Liberty holding up a Bitcoin. Not sure if you can see that. It might be cut off a bit by the screen, but it's there. Anyway, that's the Captain Planet news. And let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Hakeem Wilkins, welcome, Empire Queen, Stake It With Valor, Fudd, Wiser, Mortified, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben, Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Red Plump Tomato, Umnu, Wishniki, The Letter M, Stefan Dirks, Not Brain, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay. That's the one I forgot yesterday, I think so, yeah. Crypto Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy655, and Carlos Was Like, Mobarazi, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Pat Turnoster, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, come on, man. Snacky Chan, Tolik Vanano, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila Dahan, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Ebibiaphobia, Todd Mullis, Adam, Graysick, Moha Maroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Man, Gialavoti, Jim Gardner, Jamie Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. I'm actually slightly lightheaded. That was a very big breath that I took in, and I was using it for the last of the names. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. I do thank thee very much. So thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel who clicked the little join button below. Thank you to everyone who left a like, a comment or comments, who has subscribed, who's still here, listening to me ramble on about this weird cryptocurrency space at the moment. Bitcoin is currently down by 3%. It is at $46,000. Ethereum is currently down by 4%. It is at $3,000. Binance coin is down by 2%. See, this was the movement up. This is wow, English. This is what I was talking about as we got that, you know, the regulatorily compliant news. It began to pump up, and then so yeah, we'll see where the market goes. None of you should be surprised. This is profit taking. This is people trying to figure out a way to lower the market so they can have a larger position in the market and also buy up more coins. But yeah, I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See